I stood motionless, staring at the crayon-smudged invitation sitting on the coffee table. Damien's bright handwriting was unmistakable. His tiny fingers had colored outside every line, drawn uneven hearts beside blocky letters. My heart twisted. I wasn't supposed to see it. Natalie must have forgotten to hide it, like she usually did everything else she didn't want me to know. The bright paper mocked me. A birthday. My only child's first birthday. And I wasn't even invited. She'd said she'd take him to her sister's. Just a few pictures, she claimed. It's not even a real party, she said. We'll celebrate together later. Lies. The note said Saturday. Balloons, cake, presents. Everyone was coming. Everyone except me. I clenched the armrest of our worn sofa, nails digging into the leather. My chest burned, not just with anger, but humiliation. There had been whispers. Lingering glances exchanged between Natalie and that guy from the gym. Late returns from errands. Whispered phone calls in the hallway. Still, I held on. Told myself it was just stress, motherhood, hormones, work. Told myself I was paranoid. Now, paranoia wore glitter and frosting. She came home that night humming, cheeks flushed, dress stained with what looked like chocolate icing. I asked casually, did he enjoy the pictures? She blinked, paused, hesitated for a fraction too long. Yeah. He smiled a lot. I'll show you tomorrow. No mention of the party. No mention of balloons. No mention of the friends whose names I saw on that list. I nodded slowly, betraying no emotion. That night, while she showered, I slipped into her phone. She'd grown lazy, no password. Perhaps she thought I'd never check. The messages gutted me. Jared, loved holding him today. You're incredible. Can't believe we made it this far. Natalie, you're his favorite. Maybe more than me. Face blowing a kiss. Jared, soon he'll call me daddy. Smiling face with horns. Blood drained from my face. Hands trembled. That phone burned in my grip. And yet, I didn't say a word. I put it back. Climbed into bed beside her. Her skin smelled like his cologne. I forced my breathing to slow. Controlled every muscle. I needed more. Proof. Documentation. If I reacted now, I'd just be another jealous man unraveling. So, I planned. Followed her. Recorded details. Took screenshots. Kept everything encrypted on a drive hidden behind my tool rack in the garage. Every giggle. Every embrace. Every photo. Every video. Jared, topless in my backyard. Damien, sitting on his lap while Natalie applied sunscreen. My grill sizzled in the background. My life, rewritten in real time. Even my dog liked him. I nearly vomited. But I waited. Waited until the week after. Until she told me she'd be going to her book club. She wore high heels. Lipstick. No books. I followed discreetly. They met in a hotel room, room 214. The camera caught everything. She undressed him like a present. He whispered promises into her ear. They laughed at something I couldn't hear, but her smile said it all. She hadn't smiled at me like that in over a year. The woman I married didn't exist anymore. But the man she married, he wasn't gone. He was waiting. And now, he was ready. I woke up before sunrise. The room glowed pale blue beneath the blinds, and beside me, her figure shifted, blanket tangled around her legs, back exposed. I watched her breathing, shallow, steady, peaceful in her oblivion. Natalie had returned from Jared's hotel hours earlier. She tiptoed through the hallway, thinking I slept. Her hair reeked of his cologne again, lips bruised from kisses I hadn't given, skirt wrinkled in ways no car seat could explain. She curled into herself, ignorant, trusting. I resisted every urge to scream. Instead, I rose, walked barefoot across cold hardwood. Outside, wind rattled leaves, the garden sprinkler hissed on, unnoticed by anyone but me. This house, once ours, now felt like a hollow shell. I checked the USB drive in my jacket. Secure. On my way to the kitchen, I passed Damien's room. His nightlight pulsed softly, blue whale, glowing like a heartbeat. My son snored gently, arm draped across his stuffed dragon. My innocent boy, caught in a web he never wove. That morning, I made pancakes. Natalie stumbled in wearing my shirt. Laughable, the irony. "Smells amazing," she murmured, hair messily twisted. I smiled. "Thought we could use a fresh start." She blinked. "You okay?" I kissed her temple. "Perfect." Her phone buzzed twice. She didn't reach for it. Not in front of me. Not anymore. But I saw the name flash. "Jared, can't stop thinking about your mouth." I kept flipping pancakes. I didn't flinch. I'd trained myself. We ate quietly. Damien clapped syrup between his hands. Natalie giggled. I laughed too, louder, fuller. Inside, my heart burned. Later, I dropped Damien off at daycare. Said goodbye with a tight hug, whispered, "Be strong, little knight." He grinned, showing all 6 teeth. "I will." I drove straight to a copy shop, printed stills, screenshots, date-stamped logs. Then, I stopped by a lawyer's office downtown. Marlene Curtis. Quietly lethal. Specialized in custody and asset reclamation. A friend of a friend recommended her. I didn't say much. Just placed the drive on her polished desk. Her assistant plugged it in. 2 minutes in, she leaned back, expression tight. "She won't see this coming," Marlene said. "I'm counting on it." I left with instructions. Don't confront. Don't react. Keep smiling. It killed me. At home, Natalie packed for a girls' retreat. Weekend getaway. Wine, beaches, no husbands. Just sisters, old friends. She kissed me before leaving. Too quickly. She never said she loved me anymore. I watched her taillights fade down the road. 5 minutes later, I drove the opposite direction. Not toward any lawyer. Toward the hotel. Room 214. I waited in the parking lot. I saw her arrive. Jared opened the door for her, hand low on her back. Her lips found his like magnets. I filmed everything. Then I waited until they disappeared inside. I didn't follow. I simply drove to Jared's place. Used the key I'd cloned. Walked right in. Every corner screamed of him. Pictures of hiking trips, whiskey bottles, football trophies. And then, on his coffee table, I saw it. Damien's drawing. My son had written to Jared, my hero in blocky blue crayon. My throat closed. I found a stack of baby photos Natalie must have given him, images I'd never seen. His first swim. His second step. My boy, shared like some kind of prize. Fury blacked out the edges of my vision. I didn't smash anything. I didn't burn the house. I took the photos. The drawing. And I left him something instead. On the bedroom mirror, I smeared lipstick, hers. "Your lie ends soon. Keep smiling." Then I vanished. Back at home, I showered. Scrubbed her scent from my skin. She returned 2 nights later, tipsy, glowing. Said her sister loved the Airbnb. I nodded, feigned interest, poured her another glass. Later, she undressed before me. Let her robe fall slowly. Her eyes sparkled with something wicked, lust not meant for me. But I touched her. I kissed her. I played the part. And in the moment her breath hitched, body arching into mine, I whispered Jared's name. Her eyes flew open. She shoved me away. "What did you say?" I smiled. "Didn't he do that to you too?" Just like that. Color drained from her face. I stood, naked, unashamed. "You think I didn't know?" "And no." "Oh, come on, Nat. You couldn't even keep your lies creative." She reached for a towel. Her lips quivered. "It didn't mean anything." I laughed. "Spare me. I've seen the tapes." She froze. Her knees buckled. "You recorded me?" "No. I recorded you. You recorded yourself. I just organized the evidence." Tears welled. "You can't do this. Think of Damien." "I am. That's why he won't be around you unsupervised ever again. Please. Don't ruin our family." I stepped closer. "You already did." She collapsed onto the bed, sobbing. I dressed in silence. Then left the room. Downstairs, I poured bourbon. Looked at the framed photo of us from 4 years ago. Beach, wind in our hair, smiles filled with illusion. I opened the fireplace gate. Threw the frame in. Watched it crack. Then I whispered into the flames. 1 more week. And walked away. She moved differently after that night. Lighter, as if guilt had hollowed her out. Her steps held hesitation. Her voice trembled. She left earlier, returned sooner, attempted warmth. A stranger wearing my wife's skin tried weaving together what her lies unraveled. But it was far too late. I'd already loaded documents into a secure vault online. My lawyer had everything. Shared custody. Impossible. Natalie's private tapes would make sure of that. The following Thursday, I received a message. Unknown number, you went too far. Back off. Attached was a photo. My car. Parked outside work. Rear tire slashed. Jared. He'd found my breadcrumbs. Knew he was being watched. But it didn't matter anymore. Natalie sat across from me during dinner, pushing peas around her plate. Damien stacked broccoli into tiny castles beside her elbow. I smiled. How's the gym? I asked casually. Her fork paused midair. Fine. Why? Just curious if Jared's biceps still flex when he lies. She flinched. Damien looked up. Who's Jared? I turned gently. No one important, buddy. That night, she didn't sleep upstairs. I heard her crying through the vents. The next morning, police knocked on our door. Jared had reported threatening behavior. Said someone broke into his condo. The lipstick on his mirror? The missing baby photos? I said nothing. I let Marlene handle it. She called back within hours. He's trying to build a harassment case. He's panicking. Good. She chuckled. You ready to file everything? No, I replied. Not yet. What are you waiting for? I paused. Looked at Damien playing with his blocks near the fireplace. Timing. That evening, I invited Natalie to dinner. Somewhere public. Italian place where we'd celebrated our 3rd anniversary. Candles. Piano. Atmosphere dripping with irony. She dressed up. Rouge lips. Sparkling earrings. The same perfume she wore on our honeymoon. Trying to rewrite us through nostalgia. I played along. Over wine, I held her hand. Her pupils dilated. Hope bloomed where regret had barely settled. I miss you, she whispered. I tilted my head. Which version of me? She blinked. The one who trusted you, or the one who watched you screw my replacement? She yanked her hand back. You brought me here to humiliate me? No. I brought you here to watch. I reached under the table, pulled out a small envelope. Her eyes narrowed. What's that? Happy anniversary. She opened it. Inside, printed screenshots, Jared's texts, timestamps. Images of her legs wrapped around him in room 214. She turned pale. Lips parted, gasped. Shook her head violently. I'm sorry, she whispered. I leaned in. No. You're sorry you got caught. Tears gathered. People at neighboring tables looked our way. Please, not here. I smiled. Too late. Then I stood and walked out. Left her sobbing beside cold linguine. 2 days later, she received legal papers. Custody. Divorce. Full financial audit. She called. 16 times. I didn't answer. She arrived at my office uninvited. Begging. Apologizing. Kneeling. I stayed silent. She screamed in the hallway. Security escorted her out. That night, Jared messaged again. Jared, you're playing a dangerous game. Me, so were you. Just better at it. Jared, she came to me. You pushed her. Me, yet I never touched your woman. You can't say the same. He blocked me after that. The next day, I mailed him a thumb drive labeled Enjoy. Inside, every clip, every moan, every betrayal. And a note. From the man whose life you tried to steal. Natalie's family tried reaching out. Her mother called me a monster. Said I was ruining her daughter's future. I texted her one sentence, "Your daughter ruined her own present." No response after that. Meanwhile, Damien stayed cheerful. I kept things normal. Painted dragons. Watched cartoons. Taught him how to say loyalty and honesty. Natalie begged for visitation. Marlene fought like hell. Judge ruled temporary supervised contact. At the center was a recording. Natalie kissing Jared while Damien cried in the background, ignored. The judge's face twisted with disgust. We won. Later that month, Natalie tried texting again. Natalie, was it all fake? Everything. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded the message to Marlene. Her voice came through the phone 20 minutes later, breathless. You're brilliant. I downplayed it. She made it easy. She laughed. Let me guess. One last nail? I poured myself a whiskey. One more. 3 months vanished in a blur of hearings, disclosures, and headlines. The courtroom sagas painted Natalie as the portrait of betrayal, smiling in public, scheming behind closed doors, mother by day, mistress by night. But I didn't speak. I let evidence echo louder than bitterness. Damien adjusted quickly. Kids are like that, resilient when surrounded by truth. We built new routines, pancakes every Saturday, zoo trips monthly, bedtime tales crafted from our shared adventures. One morning, he asked me, "Do people stop loving each other forever?" I paused. "Not always," I said. "But sometimes, love isn't what we think it is. And sometimes, people mistake desire for connection." He nodded like he understood. I believe he did. Natalie's visits became inconsistent. Supervised hours drained her spirit. Damien stopped asking when she'd return. I didn't remind him. I had moved on long before she realized I was gone. Jared lost his job. Apparently, the company didn't appreciate his extracurricular activities, especially when the board received anonymous footage of him cavorting with a client's wife. His career imploded overnight. Corporate loyalty isn't kind to exposed frauds. I sent nothing. Said nothing. But I smiled. Natalie moved into a modest apartment near the city's edge. She sold her jewelry discreetly, one by one. Friends vanished. Reputation eroded. Her once flawless image shattered beneath the weight of her own choices. And I lived free. One evening, Marlene invited me to a celebration, her daughter's graduation. She'd insisted I come. No pressure, she'd added. I wore a gray blazer. Clean shave. Fresh confidence. At the venue, she found me by the balcony. "I don't think I've seen you this relaxed since, well, ever," she teased. I chuckled. "It feels lighter, doesn't it? When the lies are gone." She sipped her wine. Natalie called again. I raised an eyebrow. She wanted to drop the custody battle. Said she's tired. I nodded. She should be. Marlene looked at me then, not as an attorney, but as someone who'd watched me rebuild. Her gaze softened. She gave up the house. I blinked. What? Signed it over last week. Said it wasn't hers anymore. I leaned on the railing. Below, party lights sparkled. Music floated upward. She's right. Months passed. Quiet ones. Peaceful ones. I redesigned the home. Removed her photographs. Painted the walls. Damien helped me pick new curtains. Green, his favorite color. One afternoon, while unpacking a box labeled Memories, I found a photo of us at the beach. She looked happy. I looked hopeful. I didn't tear it up. I didn't need to. Instead, I slid it into a drawer and shut it gently. Forgiveness doesn't mean returning. It means releasing the weight. And I was weightless. A year later, I stood beside Damien at his second birthday celebration. Balloons filled the backyard. Kids screamed joyfully. Laughter rolled across trimmed grass. Neighbors clapped as he smashed cake with tiny fists. I knelt beside him. "You having fun?" He giggled. "Best day ever." I believed him. From across the yard, Marlene waved. She'd helped organize everything. She was more than legal counsel now. She was part of our story. Natalie never came. She'd moved to another city. Sent birthday cards once, then stopped. The silence didn't hurt anymore. It simply existed, like a shadow that no longer reached my feet. That night, after everyone left, Damien fell asleep holding a toy dragon. I stood at the window, glass of wine in hand, watching stars blink over quiet rooftops. Peace feels different than happiness. It's steadier, warmer, and real. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then I set the wine down, walked outside, and let the night wrap itself around me. I had lost a wife. But I had found myself. And in the end, that was the better love story.